I'm not really sure how to process this. I keep telling myself it's a sick joke, that someone is screwing with me. Maybe I got doxed somehow, and this is just some next-level trolling. But no matter how many times I try to rationalize it, I can't shake the feeling that this is real. And if it is real, I have 2 days left to live. It started last night when I was doom scrolling, the way I always do before bed. Nothing unusual, just Twitter arguments, some Reddit drama, a few shitty TikToks. Then I don't know why, but I got this weird urge to check out the darker corners of the internet. I've messed around with the dark web before, mostly just out of curiosity, never buying anything, just lurking. I fired up Tor, connected to my VPN, and went straight to one of the Onion link repositories I'd saved months ago. Clicked a few links, ended up on some random forums. Mostly the usual, drug markets, weird conspiracy shit, scam websites pretending to sell passports. But then I found something different. It was a site called Darkfeed24, and it looked like some kind of underground news network. The layout was basic, black background, red text, no images on the homepage, just a list of headlines. Some were vague, like, major event happening soon, government cover-up. But others were specific. British banker executed in Dubai, leaked footage, new serial killer in Chicago, 3 bodies found with matching wounds. They're testing on us, new video from abandoned lab. It was all the kind of shit you'd expect from a site like this. Sensationalized, probably fake. But then one headline stopped me cold. Man murdered in NYC apartment, full video and images leaked. And underneath, the subheading, they got him, it was messy. I don't know why, but I clicked it. The post had been made only 15 minutes earlier. There was a short paragraph at the top describing the crime. It was written in this weirdly detached way, like a fucking police report. Victim was 28-year-old male, lived alone. No signs of forced entry, extensive injuries, video available. And then a name, my name. I just stared at the screen, my brain refusing to process what I was looking at. It wasn't a coincidence. It was my full name, down to the middle initial. My age was right. The location was right. And then I scrolled down. The first image was of an apartment, my apartment. The photo was taken from outside, through my living room window. I recognized the way my couch faced the TV, the half-empty bottle of Coke on the table, the stack of Amazon packages I hadn't opened yet. The next picture was worse. It was a close-up of my kitchen. My fridge was open and something dark was smeared across the floor. Something that looked a lot like blood. I started sweating. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely keep my mouse steady. Then came the body photos. The first one showed a man lying on the floor of my bathroom. His face was blurred, but his clothes weren't. They were mine. Same blue hoodie. Same black jeans with the rip on the right knee. There was blood everywhere. More than I thought a human body could lose. The next photo showed him closer. His throat had been slit wide open. Not like in movies where it's a clean line, this was jagged, violent. The skin peeled back in places. His hands were limp, one of them half clenched like he'd tried to fight back. I stopped looking after that. I couldn't. I scrolled past the rest of the images, past the comments, people joking, arguing if it was real, some asking for the uncensored version, until I got to the last part. A video. It was a black screen with a play button in the middle. The file name was just a timestamp, February 19th, 2025.mp4. That's 2 days from now. I hovered over it, my stomach twisting itself into knots. I knew I shouldn't watch it. I knew that whatever was in there, it would fuck me up forever. But I clicked it anyway. The video started with static. Then the screen flickered, and suddenly I was looking at my own bedroom. The camera was set up in the corner, angled toward my bed, The room was dark, but the glow from my computer monitor made everything visible. And then I saw myself. I was asleep, lying on my side, the same way I always sleep. The blankets were half kicked off. I could hear my breathing, slow, steady. Then the door opened. Someone walked in. The figure was tall, wearing dark clothes and gloves. I couldn't see a face, just a shadowy blur where their head should be. They moved silently, like they'd done this before. No hesitation, no wasted motion. They pulled something out of their jacket, a knife. I wanted to stop watching. I wanted to close the tab, unplug my computer, burn the fucking thing to the ground, but I couldn't move. I couldn't blink. The person stood over my bed for a few seconds, just watching. Then they reached out and placed a gloved hand over my mouth. I jolted awake in the video, started thrashing, but the person was ready. They shoved me down, pressed their knee into my chest. The knife came up, and then the video stopped. No ending, no resolution, just a blank screen. I sat there, staring at it, feeling like I was about to throw up. I checked the comments again. A new one had been posted while I was watching. "You should lock your door." I slammed my laptop shut. I don't know what to do. I don't know who to call. If I go to the police, what do I even tell them? That I found a snuff video of myself 2 days before it happens. They'll think I'm crazy. But what if I do nothing? What if, in 2 days, that video becomes real? I didn't sleep. I couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that fucking video playing behind my eyelids. My own body, pinned down. The knife. The blood. I kept telling myself it was fake. Had to be. Maybe someone deep-faked my face onto some random murder footage. Maybe they pulled pictures of my apartment from old social media posts and built some elaborate hoax just to fuck with me. But I knew better. The pictures were too real. The details were too perfect. And the worst part? That video wasn't showing the past. It was showing the future. I spent the night sitting on my couch with a kitchen knife clutched in my hand, staring at my front door like it might burst open any second. I thought about calling the cops. What would I even say? That I found a murder video of myself and needed protection? No one was going to believe me. Around 6 a.m., I gave up trying to convince myself it was fake. My only option now was to figure out who was behind it before it was too late. I started with my laptop. I turned it back on, my hands shaking, as I reopened Tor and tried to find that website again. But it was gone. Darkfeed24 didn't exist anymore. The link I'd clicked last night led to a blank page. I searched every dark web forum I knew, checked every archive site, even tried some sketchy Discord servers where people shared black market links. Nothing. It was like the site had never existed. That should have been a relief. It wasn't. I had proof, though. Before I'd shut my laptop last night, I took screenshots, the pictures, the post, even the comments. I opened my folder, ready to go through them again, but the folder was empty. I swear to God I felt my stomach drop. My whole body went cold. They were just fucking there. I know I saved them. But now, nothing. Like I imagined the whole thing. I started panicking. My heart was pounding so hard I could barely breathe. I yanked out my phone and checked my photos. I remembered snapping a few screenshots on my phone too. Gone. Every single one. That was when I realized something else. The video. It had shown me sleeping, but I never sleep with my bedroom door open. Whoever filmed that had been inside my apartment. I nearly threw up. I staggered to my feet, my whole body trembling as I checked the locks on my doors and windows. Everything was locked. No broken glass, no signs of forced entry, but somehow, someone had been here, had stood in my fucking room and filmed me, and I had slept through it. I needed to get out. I didn't have a plan, didn't even know where I was going, but I couldn't stay here. I threw on some jeans, grabbed my phone, and bolted out the door. The second I stepped outside, I felt eyes on me. The street was empty,
Too early for most people to be out. But something was off. I scanned the sidewalk, the parked cars, the alley across the street. Nothing. No one. I kept walking, but my skin was crawling. Every instinct in my body was screaming that someone was watching me. I ducked into the Starbucks down the street, mostly because it was crowded. I felt safer with people around, ordered a black coffee just so I'd have a reason to sit there for a while. While I waited, I pulled out my phone. I needed to tell someone. But who? I thought about texting my best friend, Kyle. We've known each other since college. He'd know what to do, but what if this put him in danger too? I hovered over his name in my contacts. Before I could decide, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. But something in my gut told me I needed to. I pressed accept and brought the phone to my ear. Silence. For a long time, nothing but silence. Then breathing. Slow, deliberate. I felt like my entire body locked up. My mouth went dry. Then a voice. Low, calm, male. You shouldn't have watched. I hung up so fast I nearly dropped my phone. My hands were slick with sweat. I looked around the cafe, half expecting to see some hooded figure staring at me from the corner. No one. I wanted to believe it was just a prank call, but deep down, I knew better. I got out of there as fast as I could, walked until my legs ached, trying to figure out my next move. I needed to go somewhere safe, somewhere with cameras, people, security, the police station.
I'd convinced myself they wouldn't believe me, but at this point, I didn't care. I wasn't going to sit around waiting for this to happen. The station was only a 15-minute walk. I forced myself to keep moving, even though every step made me feel more and more like I was being followed. Halfway there, I stopped to check my phone again. My hands were still shaking, so bad I could barely type. I opened Google Maps to make sure I was going the right way. And then I saw it. My location. A red dot on the map, marking where I was. Nothing unusual, but then another dot right behind me. At first, I thought it was a glitch. Some random pin I'd accidentally placed, but then it moved. It was following me. I turned around so fast I nearly tripped over my own feet. The street behind me looked empty, but I knew I wasn't alone. I felt it. I ran. I didn't care if I looked crazy. I sprinted the rest of the way to the police station, my breath coming in ragged gasps. When I finally stumbled through the doors, I felt like I was going to collapse. A bored-looking officer at the front desk glanced up at me. "Can I help you?" I opened my mouth, but I couldn't get the words out. How the fuck was I supposed to explain this? I forced myself to sit down in the waiting area, my mind racing. I needed to calm down, figure out how to say this without sounding insane. That's when I got another text. This time, it wasn't from an unknown number, it was from my number. I felt ice crawl down my spine as I opened it. Just 2 words. Too late. I stared at the text, my own number glowing on the screen like a fucking death sentence. Too late. My hands clenched around my phone so hard I thought I might break it. My whole body was stiff, frozen in that moment, like if I stayed still enough, I could somehow stop whatever was happening. I looked around the police station. There were a few officers, some people waiting on benches, but no one was paying attention to me. I needed to tell someone. I forced myself up and stumbled back to the front desk, shoving my phone at the officer. "Look at this. Someone's watching me. They sent this just now." The officer barely looked at it. He sighed like I was wasting his time. "Sir, if you're getting prank texts, you can file a report online." "No, you don't understand," I cut in. "Someone's been in my apartment. They sent me a video of myself, of my own fucking murder." That got his attention. He straightened a little. "You saw a murder video?" "Yes, of me." He frowned, then turned to another officer behind him, a woman with short blonde hair. "Hey, Perez, This guy says he saw some kind of snuff film of himself. Perez walked over, looking me up and down like she was sizing me up for a psych ward. Where'd you see this video? It was on the dark web, a site called Darkfeed24, but it's gone now. Someone deleted it, or they made it disappear, I don't know, but I saw it, and it was me. Perez sighed. All right, let's start from the beginning. She motioned to a desk. Have a seat. I sat, trying to keep my breathing under control. The video was dated 2 days from now. I was asleep in my room, and then someone came in. They held me down. They had a knife. It cut off before I died, but... You're saying you saw footage of your own future murder? Perez asked, raising an eyebrow. I could tell she thought I was crazy. Maybe I was. Yes. Okay. She exchanged a look with the guy at the desk. You on any meds, sir? Any history of... For fuck's sake, I'm not hallucinating. I slammed my hand on the desk, making both of them jump. Someone was in my apartment. They filmed me sleeping. They knew details about me. They sent me this. I shoved my phone at her, showing her the text. She took the phone, glanced at it, then frowned. Wait. She turned the screen back toward me. You said this came from your own number. Yes. But there's no timestamp. I blinked. What? She handed the phone back. I looked at the message again. She was right. There was no time, no date, just the words, too late. And then as I stared at it, the text disappeared, just vanished, like it had never been there. I felt my stomach drop. Perez leaned back, folding her arms. Sir, are you sure you're not... A phone rang, not mine. The guy at the front desk picked it up. NYPD, how can I... He stopped. His face changed. I watched as all the color drained from him. Sir? Perez asked, but he didn't answer. His eyes flicked up to me, wide and unreadable. Then he slowly put the phone down and looked at her. We got a call, he said. His voice was shaking. A homicide report. Perez frowned. And? He swallowed. It was for him. The air in the room shifted. Perez turned back to me, her face unreadable. What do you mean for me? My voice barely came out. The guy at the desk hesitated. A man just called, said there was a murder in an apartment on... He checked his notes. West 112 Street, apartment 3B. My apartment. He described the victim, he continued, not looking at me now. White male, 28 years old, black hair, about 6 feet tall, wearing a blue hoodie and ripped jeans. My exact fucking outfit. The room felt like it was closing in. I couldn't breathe. Perez turned back to me, her expression hard. Did you tell anyone you were coming here? No, I whispered. Then how the fuck did they know? No one spoke. The silence was suffocating. The whole station felt too bright, too cold. Then Perez stood. I'm going to send a unit to your place. We need to check it out. In the meantime, you stay here. She motioned for another officer to come over, a younger guy. Hernandez, stay with him. Don't let him leave. I wanted to argue, but I was too fucking terrified to move. Perez and the front desk guy left. Hernandez sat down across from me, watching me like I was some kind of unstable mental patient. Who made the call? I asked. My voice felt distant, like it wasn't mine. Hernandez shrugged. No name, no number, just a blocked call. I gripped the edges of my chair, trying to keep myself from shaking. This wasn't a game, it wasn't a joke. Someone was controlling this. They were always one step ahead. And if the pattern was right, I had until tomorrow night. I sat there for what felt like hours. Hernandez didn't talk, just scrolled on his phone, occasionally glancing up at me. Then, finally, Perez came back. Her face told me everything. Your apartment, she started, then stopped, like she was choosing her words carefully. We checked it out. No body, no blood, but what? My voice was hoarse. She hesitated, then set something down in front of me. A photo. I looked at it, and my stomach dropped. It was my bed, but the sheets were gone. The mattress was stripped bare, and written across it in smeared black marker were 3 words, "See you tomorrow." I don't remember leaving the police station. I don't remember much of anything after seeing that fucking message. All I know is that at some point, I ended up in a shitty motel on the other side of the city. I must have gotten an Uber, but I don't even remember calling one. My body was running on pure instinct, my brain too fried to process anything. I locked the door the second I stepped inside, bolted it, wedged a chair under the handle for good measure. The motel smelled like cigarettes and mildew, the kind of place where people disappear. Maybe that was a good thing. Maybe if I was somewhere unpredictable, I could fuck up whoever was watching me. I sat on the edge of the bed, gripping my phone so tight my knuckles turned white. I kept checking my texts, my emails, my location services. Nothing. No new messages, no weird tracking dots, just silence. I should have felt relieved. I didn't. I needed to think. Needed a plan. If I was going to make it through tomorrow, I had to figure out who was doing this and how the fuck they knew so much about me. And then I realized there was still one place I hadn't checked, my laptop. I hadn't opened it since this all started. It was still in my backpack, untouched since I ran from my apartment. I hesitated before pulling it out, my fingers hovering over the lid. I didn't want to see that fucking video again, but I had no choice. I took a deep breath and flipped it open. The screen flickered to life. I connected to the motel's Wi-Fi and opened Tor, searching every dark web forum I could think of. I tried finding Darkfeed24 again, but it was still gone. So I did something desperate. I posted. I made a throwaway account on a dark web message board and typed out a post. Looking for info on Darkfeed24, site went down. Anyone know who ran it? I hit send and sat back, waiting. Minutes passed, then an hour. Nothing. I was about to give up when my screen flickered. A message. Anonymous. Stop looking. I felt a chill creep up my spine. I typed back. Who are you? No response. I tried again. What is Darkfeed24? Nothing. Then, just as I was about to close the browser, another message popped up. Anonymous. You were never supposed to see it. I stared at the screen, my heart hammering against my ribs. Then why did I typed. This time, the response came instantly. Anonymous. Because you're already dead. I fucking slammed my laptop shut. I was done. I couldn't do this anymore. This wasn't just some sick game. Someone was playing with my life and I was losing. I grabbed my backpack, threw my phone inside, and stood up. I needed to move. Staying in one place was a death sentence. If they could find me at my apartment, they could find me here. I pulled open the motel door, stepping out into the cold night air, and froze. There was a car parked across the lot. Black, windows tinted so dark I couldn't see inside. The engine was off, but I knew somehow that someone was in there, watching. My blood ran cold. I turned around, walking fast, trying not to look like I was running. I could feel my pulse in my throat, my skin prickling with the certainty that if I turned around, I'd see the car door opening. I didn't stop moving until I was blocks away, lost in the maze of city streets. I didn't know where I was going, didn't care. I just needed to get away. I ended up at an all-night diner, one of those greasy, fluorescent-lit places that felt like they hadn't been renovated since the 90s. I slid into a booth in the back, my hoodie pulled low over my face. A waitress came by, middle-aged, tired-looking. You want coffee? I nodded. I didn't trust my voice. She left, and I pulled out my phone. I needed help, someone who'd believe me. I called Kyle. It rang and rang and rang. No answer. I cursed under my breath and tried again. Still nothing. Then, just as I was about to hang up, click. But it wasn't Kyle. It was breathing, slow, deep, like someone was holding the phone inches from their mouth. I felt my stomach twist. Kyle? My voice was barely a whisper. The breathing didn't stop. Then, soft, almost playful, a laugh. I hung up so fast I almost dropped the phone. My hands were slick with sweat, my heart hammering in my chest. What the fuck was happening? The waitress came back with my coffee. I barely noticed. I just sat there, staring at my phone, willing Kyle to call me back. He never did. I don't know how long I stayed there, but at some point, exhaustion caught up with me. My head was spinning. My body felt like it was shutting down. I hadn't slept in almost 2 days. I needed rest. Just an hour, maybe 2. I told myself I'd keep one eye open, just long enough to recharge. I should have known better. Because when I woke up, I wasn't in the diner anymore. I woke up in darkness. At first, I thought I was dreaming. The kind of dream where your body is heavy, your head foggy, where nothing feels real. But then I tried to move. And I couldn't. My arms, my legs. Something was holding them down, tight. I was tied to a chair. Panic shot through me like ice water, snapping me fully awake. My breathing was too loud in the silence. My heart pounded so hard it hurt. I couldn't see, couldn't tell where I was, but the air was thick, stale, the smell of dust, sweat, something metallic. Then footsteps, slow, measured, coming closer. I held my breath. A dim light flickered on, weak, yellowish, just enough to see the room. Concrete walls, no windows, a single metal door closed, and a man standing in front of me. He was tall, wearing black gloves, a dark hoodie. His face was covered, just a blur of shadow under the dim light. I couldn't move. I couldn't fucking move. He didn't speak, just watched me, like he was waiting. I forced myself to swallow the lump in my throat. Where am I? My voice cracked. He didn't answer. I tried again. Who the fuck are you? Nothing. Then slowly, he reached into his pocket, pulled out a phone. My phone. He held it up, thumb hovering over the screen, and then a video started playing. I couldn't see it, but I didn't need to. I knew what it was, the same video from before, the one from the dark web, the one of me dying. I heard it, the rustling blankets, my breathing, the door opening, then struggling, the sound of someone gasping, my own voice muffled, the noise of a blade slicing through skin. I clenched my fists, nails digging into my palms. Why are you doing this? Finally he spoke. His voice was calm, steady. You shouldn't have looked. I swallowed. Who are you? Silence. Then he stepped closer, crouching down so we were eye level. The dim light caught the edge of something in his hand. A knife. My chest tightened. I struggled against the ropes, twisting my wrists, trying to loosen them. Nothing. He tilted his head. You were never supposed to see it, but you did, and now... He lifted the knife. I thrashed. Please, wait, I won't say anything. I won't tell anyone. Just let me go. He was so fucking calm, so in control. He just stared at me like I was some pathetic animal squirming before the inevitable. Then he pressed the knife to my throat. Cold metal. Just enough pressure to make my pulse hammer against the blade. I clenched my jaw, squeezing my eyes shut. Please. Silence. Then something changed. The knife lifted. I opened my eyes. He was staring at me, still as stone. Then he did something I didn't expect. He pulled something from his pocket. A phone. Another one. And he held it up to my face. The screen was recording, a live video, and on the screen, a dark web forum, a post with a title. Live feed, NYC man killed in real time. And under it, comments, hundreds of them. Holy shit, this is real. Kill him already. Betty cries before it's over. This is better than Netflix. My whole body went numb. It wasn't just him, it was all of them.
This wasn't random. It wasn't just some psycho who picked me at random. This was a fucking business, a goddamn show. My stomach twisted, my vision blurred. You're streaming this? No answer. He just held the knife up again, positioned it. I gasped, my whole body locking up, my vision tunneled. This was it. This was fucking it. And then a noise, a loud, shattering bang. The door burst open, shouting, boots slamming against the floor, flashlights. The man in front of me spun around, reaching for something in his jacket. Gunfire. I flinched, squeezing my eyes shut. Something warm splattered across my face, and then silence. When I opened my eyes, he was on the floor, blood pooling, the knife still clutched in his hand. Perez stood in the doorway, gun drawn, breathing hard. Other officers rushed in, swarming the room. Hands were on me, cutting the ropes, voices, too fast, too loud, but all I could do was stare at the man's body. Because next to him, his phone was still on, and the comments were still coming. Fake as fuck, he didn't even scream. Lame ending. Next one better be gorier. Perez pulled me up. You're safe now. But I wasn't. I knew I wasn't, because the last comment, the one that sent ice through my veins, was only 3 words. You're still next.